Hi, this is Jack Saint from Rain Tech Services, and I'm happy today to provide you with a quick introductory sneak peek at Innovator, one of the industry leading PLM solutions as defined by Forrester Research in their annual WAVE report. Innovator is used by companies such as General Motors and Microsoft and Airbus to manage their complex product and part development lifecycle. Innovator is not only a PLM solution, but it also happens to be a web-based application deployment platform. You can write custom web-based applications, hopefully with the help of RainTech Services, and deploy those into your production environment while writing minimal amounts of code through configuration capabilities. What I'm going to show you today will give you a sneak peek into the PLM solution, but it will also give you an idea of the power of the development platform. So let's take a look at the PLM solution. When you're dealing with Innovator's PLM, everything surrounds a part. The development of that part, the design of that part, the manufacturing of that part, the deployment of that part, all of the items surrounding that part, bill of materials, documents, CAD files. So when you're working with Innovator in the PLM aspect, you're often searching for parts, and you can search by any criteria, any property within the part, and also by any property within any of the associated items that are associated to that part. Once you've narrowed down your search criteria and you've filtered out the number of parts you want to work with, you can export those to Excel to work with them offline, or you can drill down into the part itself and open up the part. When you open up a part in Innovator, you're going to see what you see with every single item that's developed in the Innovator application deployment platform. Header level information at the top of the screen. The top window contains all the properties that you've defined for that particular item. In this case, a part has a number of items or a number of properties assigned to it. And these come out of the box with the Innovator PLM solution. The lower half of the screen will contain a series of tabs or a series of grids that'll list off different items or views of items that are associated to that part. In the case of the PLM solution provided by Aris, it comes with these standard related items or relationships. Bill of material happens to be one of them. It's a series of parts that make up the parent part. And you can look at that from a different aspect of the structure so that we can view, for example, the indented bill of material, which will show every subcomponent and then its own subcomponents to an infinite number of indented levels and an infinite number of subcomponents. So when we're viewing bill of materials, there's a couple of different ways that we can do that within a given part. But we can also look at these other items that are associated to the part. For example, documents. You can associate one or more documents with every part that you build out there on Innovator. All of these are stored in the Innovator document vault. They're all secured. They're all provided with a workflow for approval process, revision controlled, etc. Every document that you store in the vault can be authored by another means. So for example, Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint, you can draw schematics, you can create PDF files or images, and all of these can be done with different authoring tools. One of the features that comes with Innovator that you can download is the Office Connector. This will embed a new item, a new menu item within your Office environment. So when you're working in Microsoft Office and you're working on a Microsoft Word file, you can save that file to Aris and it'll put it into the vault. You can open it from Aris. You can look at templates that were developed and deployed across your platform through Aris. And all this integration with Aris happens behind the scenes, so you don't even have to log on to Aris to have access to the vaults and the vaulting capability and power within the Aris platform. Let's go back into the Aris platform. So in addition to documents that are standard documents, there's CAD files. Now CAD files are documents again, but they're authored by a CAD authoring tool, for instance SolidWorks or CATIA or AutoCAD. And we store the native file, the native output, in this case it's a SolidWorks file, in the vault as well, and version control it and approval control it. We can associate it with an engineering change. We also, as part of the ARIS solution, provide an automatic converter product that takes that native file and converts it into a viewable file. The viewable file is a 3D PDF file that can then be pulled up using ARIS with the ARIS toolset. So you don't have to have SolidWorks on your desktop in order to pull up a 3D version or a 3D rendering of a given drawing. And once it's pulled up, you can rotate the drawing using the ARIS tools. You can explode it. You can zoom in, zoom out, explode it into its subcomponents. And perhaps the most powerful aspect of this whole environment um, is that we can mark it up. And I don't require any kind of a CAD solution on my desktop in order to do this. So I'm going to create some markups here, and I can maybe highlight this particular fan. Look at this fan connection. Whoops. And let me just go in, and I'm going to highlight the fan, and I'm going to circle the connection. Once I do that, I can click on this little button on the right hand side, and it'll pull up a discussion panel. I can then add some comments in. For instance, take a look at this before approval. Add that comment and include a snapshot which takes a picture of the red line markups that I've created, and it makes it available through what's called visual collaboration. Now I can scroll down, I can look at other folks' comments and look at the pictures and red lines that they put in about their comments. So that there's a tool that allows you to communicate on a CAD rendering as you're developing and deploying that CAD file, and you don't need the CAD tool to do so. You can make markups, you can do all the zooming capabilities and rotating that I showed you. And you can also do these same markups with other files. So for example, if it's a Word file or an Excel document, or it's a PDF file. In this case, I'm going to pull up an Excel file, which was the cost analysis on this particular product. I can mark that Excel file up using the same tool set and save those comments as part of my visual collaboration. The visual collaboration is a very powerful aspect of the PLM solution, but it's also available across any solution that's built using Innovator. So you can deploy new applications and have this same kind of capability against the Innovator stored documents that are stored in the Innovator Vault using a custom solution. Now we're going to go back into the bill of material, which again, as I said, was a list of the parts associated or children of this particular parent part, a market bought replicator. And I'm going to look at one of its subcomponents by drilling down into it. Each subcomponent then has its own set of bill of materials, its own bill of materials structure, and I can drill further down. It's got its own CAD renderings and thumbnails that are generated. I can also look at changes associated with this particular subcomponent. When you're dealing with Innovator's PLM solution, there are a lot of different change requests and types that can be associated with every component. In this case, I'm looking at an engineering change order to change out a fan that's in work. So let me drill down into the change order and see what's on the change itself. The change itself has a description of what the change is. It has a list of all the impact matrix, any associated attachments and sign-offs, etc. When I click on sign-offs, you'll see who's signed off so far on this particular change as it works its way through its workflow history. So it was originally submitted by Mike Miller. The planner was Terry Adams. He signed off on it. It went to Mike Miller and Diane Prescott to do the changes, and they then submitted those changes to planning for approval. If I want to view the workflow in a graphical manner, I can select View Workflow, and you'll see the workflow associated with this particular change order. In And in this case, the workflow goes from submitted into planning. Planning can then submit it for a review, which can then come back to planning because it wasn't accepted, or it can be approved and moved on to the next step where draft changes happened, and that's what's going on right now. Once those are done, they can be submitted to change review, which could be a change control board that needs to review and approve the change before it's revisioned, or you might fast track it right past the review board if it doesn't require that. Now, this is an example of one workflow for one type of engineering change order. Keep in mind that in Innovator, you can create custom workflows for anything that you develop and deploy within the Innovator platform. You can also take advantage of the out-of-the-box workflows that have been developed. Under change management, there are a number of different engineering change flavors that can be enabled or disabled. Simple change orders, complex change orders, change requests and change notifications using the CM2 standard for change management with all of its associated standard workflows. All these come out of the box. You can then take that workflow and make minor modifications or configuration changes to it, which leads to the configurability, adaptability, and flexibility of the product. When you create new custom applications, those all can also include workflows that you create and deploy, and you can deploy those from other workflows that you've developed in other aspects of the system. When we look down at the different modules that come with the product, some of them are optional, but most of them are standard out-of-the-box solutions. This is an example of an optional solution, component engineering. Component engineering allows you to hook into the IHS database, which is a third-party database with 460 million plus parts, and do all your part sourcing using the latest and greatest tech sheets, data sheets, obsolescence information, compliancy information, everything related to that part, and allow you to swap in and swap out alternate parts so that you can deal with shortages, particularly in your electronic component sourcing. And you can look at different aspects of what companies and what vendors have solutions available. As we go down the menu here, there's dashboards. You can create custom dashboards. There's some out-of-the-box dashboards that come standard with the Innovator platform. The Innovator platform, as I mentioned, can be downloaded and utilized for free because it's an open source platform. And at RainTech, we'd love to help you evaluate that platform for use in your production environment. The documents section contains CAD files and other documents that are part and stored as part of the ARIS Vault. There's an extended classification feature that comes standard with the out-of-the-box solution where you can classify parts. There's My Innovator, which includes a desktop that each individual can set up, a set of reports that they can set up. There's a self-service reporting facility that comes with the product for free that allows you to create user-based reports and store them in your My Reports menu. You also have the ability to have your own in-basket, and every user can get messages sent to them, whether it be request for approval, for instance, as part of the change management facility, or whether it be other notices that you want to send. Portfolio includes things like projects. Innovator comes with a full project management capability. And when you're in the project management area, you get all the features that you'd expect in a standard project management software product, like, for instance, Microsoft Project. But it's a lot more powerful because it's all integrated into the PLM solution. It can include and track attachments as deliverables. So if one of the project tasks is to write a specification and it's been assigned to Mike Miller's in-basket will get a message to create this specification with perhaps a template to use for the specification document that he needs to work on. And when Mike Miller completes that specification, he can then submit it through the standard workflow in ARIS, and it'll automatically update this project tracker, which will then update the project plan with percentage of complete and with the completion status on every single task that's defined as part of each phase in the deliverable. So the project manager in an ARIS environment doesn't have to be the administrator that has to update every single task within the project plan. That automatically gets updated, and it gets escalated when those tasks are not complete on time, and the individual gets a message, and so does the manager, saying this task is late, and then they can work on resolving that lateness. So project is a very powerful application that's provided as part of the ARIS platform, but there are others as well. Under process, we have Microsoft, uh, manufacturing process planning, which allows you to track work instructions for building product. And those work instructions can be graphical, and they can track routings and manufacturing requirements, including machines and skill sets and tools and everything you need in the manufacturing engineering world. It also includes a resolution between your manufacturing bill of material and the engineering bill of material to ensure completeness, and also to show you things that are required in the manufacturing aspect of the product development that are not required in the design or engineering part. For example, adhesives and tapes and things that are used, paint that are used in the manufacturing operation but not necessarily dictated in the engineering. There's also a quality control document solution that includes corrective action planning, uh, corrective actions themselves, containments, and quality events that happen for design quality documents and process quality documents. Requirements management takes you all the way back to the initial requirements that set the groundwork for the design of the product. So even before you have an engineering bill of material and before you have a CAD file associated with the design of that product, you have requirements that drove that. When ARIS talks about the full digital thread, they talk about from the requirements phase all the way through the design phase, the engineering phase, into the manufacturing, and all the way out to the deployment phase. So there's a full requirements document management solution that's provided as part of the product. Sourcing tracks your vendors, your approval of those vendors, the manufacturing parts, etc. Technical documentation allows you to document data sheets and things of that nature that will be deployed perhaps to the website for graphical representation of the product or graphical descriptions. And by integrating these technical docs into your PLM solution, when there's a new version of a subassembly, it'll automatically integrate in those changes into the documentation that gets sent out to the website as well. So you have a full management tool that allows you to track the whole life cycle of the product and then update all the documents and associated requirements, etc., with those files. That's a quick introduction to ARIS, the Innovator platform. I hope it was informative. Hope it gave you a peek as to what the PLM capabilities are, but also gave you some idea as to what the application deployment and platform allows you to do in terms of capabilities and taking advantage of the groundwork of information that is available to you when you deploy custom-based applications as well. If you'd like more detailed demo, or you want to talk more about potentially some of your requirements and what we can do to help you out, please don't hesitate to contact us here at Rain Tech Services, and we'd be happy to help you. Our vision is delight every customer, and we're looking for more customers to delight. We'd love to delight you guys. Thank you very much for your time, and have a good day.